Hi everyone, I'm Lisa
And I'm Jenny.
and we're the Shady Trees
Shady
Stitches. But we're coming to you for this video with our plans and talking about all the fun and great things you can stitch in December in the Facebook cross stitch world that we know of and that we're thinking of doing. There's so many, we can't do them all, but here's some of them to give you a helping hand of what's happening in December.
Mm-hmm.
And December is usually a bit of a different month because it's when everything's finishing up for the year and then heading into the next year. So here is what we've got happening. Okay, first of all, in Whip Warriors, there are the usual sorts of things happening, but the main Whip Warriors challenge does finish up on the Monday, the 11th of December. So after that, you get to have a few weeks of doing whatever you want to do, getting yourself ready for the next year. Have you managed to finish your no new starts? Have you worked your whips? Have you done 2023 and 23? Or if you did SWE, we don't really care. So you can do what you like with it, but it officially finishes on the 11th, and then we'll be having our final raffle drawings and heading full bore into 2024. Sort of a bit difficult for me at the moment because I'm torn between like all these hats of finishing off and starting. So before it ends, we have got the focus stitch and the beat the modmin. That is happening starting on Sunday this week for me. So tomorrow, it's your last chance to beat the current modmin team. You might want to pick someone who's outgoing, or you might want to pick your favourite, whoever you want to pick. Remember, if you look back in the event all year, you can see what we've stitched each month, and it's not necessarily a given to what's happening in our lives. It is the silly season, but see who you want to beat. It will be continuing in 2024. The Strident Sal is on Thursday the 7th. These are Australian times. Sorry if you're in America. I just can't get my head around giving you time conversions right this second.
Yep.
So the Strident Sal is on, and on Friday the 8th, Whip Frenzy is happening. So right at the end of the challenge, you got a last dash to do 100 or 200 stitches on each of your whips to just push them through that extra bit. Then starting after the challenge ends on the 13th of December, we start our 2-week Christmas event where we do a bunch of fun things. So you'll have to watch out for that. And on the 20th of December, the current road trip finishes. So you have to finish up your road trip if you're in that event. And then we will be starting the next leg of the next road trip on the 21st of December. And that's where we're going to...
When does the road trip open for new people?
That is a good question. The new road trip is likely to open, I think, on the 11th when the challenge ends. We just don't want to open it up too early because people get too confused. So I'll have to check with Nat, but I think that's when we're opening it up. It's a new group, new side group, so it's not going to cross over, but you won't be stitching on both road trips simultaneously. Ours picks up where it leaves off, and we've got a transition to Australia. It's a long way from America to Australia, so we're going to be cruising our way through Alaska and Hawaii down to Australia. Plenty of things to do. If you don't want to stitch during that bit of time, you can just fly yourself straight to Sydney and get on the trip then. But if you want to have some fun and practice, we've got lots of fun for you along the way. And then we've got that's it. So the main thing that's happening then is the month-long categories. What letter have we got this month?
C for cat.
C for cat. That's a nice letter.
Okay, so first off, oops, wrong page. First off, we have animal or plant.
Yes, an animal or a plant. Well, you just said cat.
Yes.
And that's a pretty good one.
If you've got something camel, if you've got something a bit more maybe Christmassy.
Yep, or camel. I was just thinking more plain and normal like a cow. Yes. But for me, because I've got certain things to focus on, there is a lion cub in Angel Lion and Lamb. So I'm going to do cub. You got anything to do for an animal or plant?
Oh, so for plants, carrots, chestnut tree.
Cactus.
Yes. Nothing that nothing that immediately comes to mind. I mean, I could potentially make out that trees in some of the patterns I have could be.
Yeah,
just not trees.
that's all right. No worries. We'll move on.
Conifer for any
Conifer.
kind of pine tree.
Yes, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the next one is beach or ocean.
All right, I've got the perfect word for this. Cove. There's a cove on the beach, and I have a piece. I just thought of it then. My fairy tale village, fairy tale town by Abris Arts, it's got that little cove there. And the cove has a beach on it, and I have to stitch on this next Saturday night because anyone who's stitching this piece, join us in a stitch along. And we're getting every second Saturday night, a bunch of us are getting on this with Warrior Zoom, and we are going to be stitching this every second Saturday night for the year. So if you're trying to do it, come and join us. All right. What else?
Beach or ocean. So clam shells.
Castaway.
Yes, that's a good one.
Casting with the fishing rod.
Yes.
That's all I can think of at the moment.
Presumably there's some kind of sea creatures. Crabs. Crab
would be there's the obvious one right there. We can never think of the obvious, can we? Awesome. Well, there's some ideas for you people.
Yes. Again, nothing that I have any of my pieces.
No, but that's okay. You don't have to do them all.
No. Okay. Color. Ooh. Crimson. I could do my deck the halls and say crimson.
And remember, people, you don't have to stitch in the colour for this one. It just has to be prominent on your pattern. Yes. So it's not like you have to do the stitches in the colour.
Yes. Where's it gone? Oh, there's my share screen button. Yes. So for those who've forgotten what it looks like, I'm doing the caterpillar cross stitch deck the halls. So yes, so there's some nice crimson red. Oops, hang on. I think that. The silly bar gets in the way.
No, it's all right. It's all good on my screen. It's all good. So crimson red, I can see it. Yes.
Yep. If you were doing blue, you could say cerulean.
Yes.
If that's how you pronounce it.
First colour that came to my mind was cream.
Yes.
And she's got cream wings.
She does. Lots of.
So there you go. You could, probably if there's like candy, particularly candy pink. Mm-hmm. That sort of thing.
Yep. There's all sorts of ones that you could work on.
Yes.
Caramel.
Oh yes, caramel.
Yes.
There we go. Lots of good choices.
All right. Next is related to humans.
All right. My first C that related to a human was curtsying. So Savannah, I want to focus on her. So I had to try and think. She's a hard one to fit in. And I think that's why she hasn't had a lot of love, because there's not a lot of thing. But on that, related to human hair curls.
Yes. Child.
A child,
so
definitely.
I've got my Peaceable Kingdom, Teresa Wensler. That's got a child in it. There we go. We have my little boy.
Yep.
Oops.
I think you could have any action that a human does, like a cartwheel or a cheer, if it's shown in your whip. So things like that.
Choir.
Yes, a choir. That would fit. That's very Christmassy too.
I just happen to be in 2 at the moment.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
All right. What's next?
Man-made.
Man-made.
Cottage.
I've got a castle.
You've got your castle homecoming.
Yeah, and it's got a castle. A cake.
Cake, yes. Yes, I have my castle. And I would even say Christmas decorations.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. But the castle would be a good one.
Yes, well, those houses are too big to be. That's too big to be a cottage as well. Oh, yes, there you go. I do have cats.
You have cats.
I have cats.
Cats are not man-made though.
No. Back for the animal.
I know. Well, there you go. You've got an animal.
I didn't think of Beatrix Potter when I thought Beatrix Potter. You tend to think of rabbits, not cats. So yeah, so lots of options for that one. Travel related.
All right, I've got two for this already, so I'm going to save you having to think too hard and give you my two first. My first one, I thought my knight is charging at the, to joust, to joust.
Absolutely.
But I also could decide to go on a carriage ride.
Yes.
So they're my two C's.
Or car. Or cart.
Yep.
I finished the one I did for Rafi had a car in it. You had old time wagons, they were carts.
My Christmas house too has a car in it, but it's not on the list for this month. So there you go. Few ways to do travel.
C's not too bad.
No, it's a good season.
Now this is separate, like the next one is holidays. So holidays would be Christmas. Season.
Now, you can't use the same word for both. So if you want to use Christmas as a season, you can. Christmas season can be a season, but then you can't use it for anything. So I actually, again, went back to my Savannah and my good old Bridgeton days of coming out season.
Oh, yes.
Right, the season.
The season.
The season is about coming out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's my way around that one.
Yeah, I don't know what else you could.
Yeah, I didn't actually Google it. So Google's your friend if you don't want to do Christmas.
Yes.
All right. What have we got? Holidays. So obviously.
Holidays.
Yeah. So I'm doing Christmas for the holidays.
Yes.
And my Christmas piece is my angel lion and lamb because she's wearing a Christmas coloured dress.
Yeah. Well, I have multiple options. And if I'm trying to do, because I've still got a handful of pieces that I haven't stitched on yet this year. One was the Christmas decorations that I just showed. So that would fit in with that one. Yeah.
I'll do a quick Google for you.
Oh, okay. Yep. Good thought.
For holidays, in case, there's so many. Okay. Holidays starting with C.
Well, you can say any Christian holidays.
Yeah.
Which, yes, they happen to also be Christmas, but there's other things.
There's a whole bunch. Call a friend day, camera day, can opener day, whole bunch of Canadian public holidays.
Yes.
Canine fitness month, car care month.
So you could also use canine for the animals.
Carnival, just a carnival, because often there's a public holiday.
Yes.
Celebrate a whole bunch of things. Celebrate your name week, celebration of life, celebration of the horse, celebration nurses. So let us see. It's so easy, people. You can find anything.
Yeah.
So with that, we're not going to bother going through the music books, TV. There's so many things you can find there. Okay. Designer. One of the Cathys is spelled with a C. Clouds Factory.
Yes. Ink Circles.
Yep.
Candemar Designs. Not just having a look at mine. That was the one that I was at Caterpillar Cross Stitch.
Oh yeah, Caterpillar Cross Stitch.
Yes.
Yep. So you're right with that. Yeah. So I don't think I have any in the ones that I am doing that are a letter C, but that's okay because I don't have to do. Oh, I've got one. Charles Wasocki.
Yes.
And this is my other Whipco piece. So my Charles Wasocki. I know he's not the designer, but with Hayes, you tend to go off the artist.
Yes. And he is quite prolific. There are quite a lot of patterns based on his artworks.
Yeah. All right. And the last one is the pattern. Do you have any patterns with C?
Cross Stitch Nation.
Yes, you've got Cross Stitch Nation. We haven't seen that for a while.
That's my only one.
Well, you only need one and you need to work on it. So there's one to do. Yep. I've got Craft Room Stitch Count. I also had Castle Homecoming.
Yes.
So I'm pretty good for.
Actually, that's the thought. Yes, I've got castle sampler. I think I was looking at the first word.
Yeah. So there we go, people. That's what you can do for Whip Warriors. So if that interests you, that's what's happening for the month. You can come and join us, jump on board, have a practice, and be ready for 2024. We are over 600 members at the moment, so it will not be open for much longer. But if you'd like to join us in Whip Warriors, head on over to Whip Warriors on Facebook and make sure you answer the questions so that Julie lets you in. She'll let anyone in who's a cross stitcher who answers questions, so it's not like it's really hard. But you have to answer the questions. So come and join us and have fun. It's really, it is lots of fun. All right. Next up, semi-seam stitches is actually driving me a little bit because they're doing a couple of different things this month. And I should read what they
yet, so I will
no
to hear.
Well, I should look up what they all are, but what the biggest thing they're doing that I'm interested in is they are doing an advent calendar, and they're doing it 3 ways. So you can do one way or all 3 ways if you want to stitch more. So the first way is if you have a Christmas piece, you have an advent, so an actual cross stitch advent calendar. So it's one of those ones where they've got the 24 different bits. You can actually stitch on it, and you do a motif a day, and you get points for that. So that's pretty cool. But I'm not doing that because I don't have an advent calendar I'm stitching. But they have stitched the hundreds, and this is like a focus. This is a bit like the usual daily 30, but you stitch 100 stitches a day on the same piece. And so I will be doing my 100 stitches a day on Savannah because I want to get her progressed. So what would you pick if you had to pick 100 stitches a day on a piece, Jenny? I mean, we know it would never happen, but what would you pick?
What haven't I stitched on yet? Well, I could at least do 100. Well, 3 rows will be 100 stitches of my knitting.
Yes.
Oh, maybe I should start Primavera because I finally found material that's the right size and shape and everything.
Good.
But it's one of the ones from the sewing basket, so it smells just a little bit musty. So I want to wash it first. And that was on my list to do today. So if I wash it today,
you can start
give it a day or 2 to dry. Then
sounds good.
Because I've got all the threads, because the ones that I couldn't find I ordered from Janet. So I've got all the threads now. It's in a project bag already. I've got the pattern. I just needed the material, so get that washed. And because that's got lots of little bits here and there, let me just pull up the picture for those who don't remember what it looks. Oops. Okay, scroll. Oh, here we go. Because it's so pretty.
It is. On my list for one day.
So there's lots of different little bits to it.
Gorgeous.
So some conifers down here. I could make it double dip with all sorts of things.
Yes, it's good. You've even got water, so that's good.
Yes. I'm sure I could. Church is another.
Yes, that's man-made.
Oh, maybe. Oh no, that one. Or is that a schoolhouse?
Yes. It's whatever you want it to be. If it's for the letter C,
church
chapel.
Or chapel. There you go.
There you go.
C buildings. Yes. Lots of clothing as another
clothing. Yes.
Related to humans one. So all sorts of options there.
Okay.
So actually, what would be good is if I don't normally start in the corner, but if I started in the corner to do the border, because that kind of then gives me, like, that would be a good thing. And because each section looks like it's kind of repetitive.
So you could do one section a day as a couple of flowers is 100 stitches. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jenny.
Yeah. And then that kind of gives me things to work off. I also need to decide, because they give you different languages for the word. Like primavera is obviously the Italian for spring, but they also give it to you in English and French. So I have to decide what language I want to do it in.
Yes. No, that sounds good. Okay. The next one is to stitch the prompts. So the prompts you had to do each day. The first one was merry, something that was merry. The second day was red, and I had to stitch in red, which is why I went up to the red on my Savannah.
Yeah.
The other events they've got the December Focus Challenge, finishing off what they've done all year, the calendar sale, finishing off for the year, and also the they've got this or that, vintage or modern, and a winter start to finish sale. So there's lots of options happening in semi-sane. All right, let's go to the other one that drives me, which is the monthly from Down Under Divas.
Okay, so this month we are up to 2010 to 2022, so slightly more than a decade, but
yeah, finishes off.
So as they say, 12th and a bit decade of dancing through the decades. Okay, so there's 4 levels depending on how many of the prompts you do. Okay. All right, so the first one, it is talking about the day Queen Elizabeth II died. So stitch on your oldest whip.
Okay.
She was the
longest
reigning English monarch.
Yes. My oldest whip is coming out to play next year, but it's not currently out to play. So I would interpret the oldest to mean the one that was actually printed first. And I will have to have a look, because it's one of these two would be the oldest ones I've actually got that are printed the oldest.
Yes.
Well, apart from all the Tolman Gardens that I'm not working on at the moment, but I would swing it that way and maybe do 2000 on that. But in all honesty, I don't think I'm going to get to doing that prompt.
Well, my oldest, I think, is my Castle sampler of like the ones that I physically have, but oldest printed. Ooh, because I've got a couple of old Dimension ones, but then my Blackbird is out of print, so that's obviously a bit old too. I don't know. I'd have to have a look at that one.
Yeah,
that's an interesting take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally they mean your oldest, as in the one you've been working on the longest.
Yeah.
But as I said, people get to see that from me next year.
Yeah. So next, in 2015, Greece became the first developed country to declare bankruptcy. Stitch 2,000 stitches on a piece in blue or white threads or a combination. So in other words, the colours of the Greek flag.
I'm doing Savannah's dress. I'm doing her dress, and there's blue on the floor as well. But
okay.
But I may as well work on the white.
Yes.
Yes.
But we've already discussed the fact that the colours on that picture don't quite match.
No, but the floor is actually blue because I got to some floor.
Yeah. Okay. So
what about you?
So that's good. Okay. The slogan Black Lives Matter gained prominence throughout this decade. Stitch 1,000 stitches in dark thread.
Okay. That's a bit more tricky for me. But not really, because I could do my angel, lion and lamb up the top.
Yes,
that's where I'm up to, that dark blue.
Yeah. Just inside the green.
Just inside the border. Yeah. So thank you. I haven't written. See, I can't function if I don't do this video. It gets me organized.
Okay. All right. On February the 24th, 2022, Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Stitch 1,000 stitches on a piece by a Ukraine designer. I
don't have one, so I would pass on that one.
As for dark thread, well, I guess if I did some on my my Haid, because I started in black, so yeah. Okay. Number 5. The first AFL. Oh, sorry. There's not in Australia. Australian Football League. The first AFL women's game was played on the 3rd of February 2017. Stitch 1,000 stitches on a piece with a ball or a woman. Okay. So again, they're talking about a ball as in a thing you throw. Yep. Your Primavera might be all right there. There might be a ball in that. There's a woman. And Cross Stitch Nation has women in it. So, yes. I'm going to double up and be on the side of cheeky. It's a woman. Yes. She's at a ball. Yes. Yes. I love the plan.
I don't think Melissa would accept the ball version, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway because, as Melissa knows, I like to.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 2016, the United Kingdom withdrew from the European Union, stitched 500 stitches on a piece with something iconically British.
I don't know if I can call this iconically British, but it's the closest I can get is the castle homecoming, because castles and like the frog prince, it's not necessarily just British, but it's iconically that sort of European.
Yeah. Beatrix Potter for me.
Yes, that works.
Beatrix Potter, absolutely. And I haven't done any of that this year yet. Okay, next. Right. The first iPad was that only 2010? Wow.
Yeah.
I could have sworn they were around longer than that. Anyway, the first iPad was released in April 2010. Stitch 500 stitches on a piece with a pad or on a design that starts with I.
All right. I don't think I have any I designs, and again, I'm stretching the friendship. Lily pads. That's the best I can do.
It says a pad. It's not specifying.
Well, does it mean like a pad on a dog's paw?
Yeah. But
I don't know.
If you're going lily pad, I could do Beatrix Potter for that too, because Jeremy Fisher is sitting on a lily pad.
Well, that's I think the best we're going to do. I don't know what else a pad would be. I mean, there's no a notepad. I can't imagine anyone stitching sanitary napkins. So when you say a pad, that's what I think. So
yeah.
Anyway, as you say, you just get our opinion here, people. We don't have any ruling over it.
No. Okay, next one. Nelson Mandela passed on the 5th of December 2013. He was the former president of South Africa and their first black head of state. Stitched 500 stitches on a piece related to Africa.
There are lions in Africa.
Yeah.
That's as close as I can get. In these pieces, obviously the Amazing Animal Kingdom bookshelf would be perfect, but I'm not stitching on that this month. So
no. Well, I guess then I could. Well, yeah. So you can probably get away with it because there's not so much of background on yours, but my Peaceable Kingdom that has a lion in it, you're not going to get lemon trees and stuff like that, I don't think, or whatever trees they are. That scene is not typically African.
No, I didn't say it had to be in Africa. It said it had to relate to Africa.
Relate to Africa. Okay. Well then, yeah, my lion. Probably about as good as I'm going to get.
Yep.
I think. Okay, next. Okay. Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 went missing on the 8th of March 2014. Stitch 500 stitches on a piece that contains an M, an H, a 3, a 7, or a 0.
So anything with letters that has those letters, for me,
370.
My craft room stitch count has the entire alphabet on it. Plus it has all the numbers for the key. So I'm just doing that one.
Yeah. So for me, I could do more of the Deck the Halls because it has.
Yep. It's got M for Mary.
Snowmen.
Yep.
At least.
Yeah.
Cross Stitch Nation has a.
Yep.
An H.
Yep.
And it'll have a 3 because if I put 2023. But
that's true. 2023, that's a good way to get it. So anything you're stitching, if you write the date on it, as long as you're finishing it.
Yes. That gives you a 0 and a 3.
Yeah, there you go. Easy.
Yep. Okay, next. The Ice Bucket Challenge was the first of many stupid challenges to hit social media. But it did raise more than $115 million for ALS awareness and research in 2014. Stitch 500 pieces, 500 stitches on a piece with ice or a bucket.
Okay, I want to go outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to my Macintosh mill.
Yep.
Because the water thingo would have buckets on it, even though I can't actually see one. But I think they're probably buckets sitting there under the door. So I could do that one for bucket. But of course I have ice covered in my African piece.
Yes. I'm just having, no, there's nothing that looks like a bucket in Primavera. But, well, if I've got a snowman, does that could potentially count as ice. It's about as close as I'm going to get, I think.
All right.
And then the last one, in 2020, COVID hit the world and our lives changed forever. Isolation, masks, and social distancing became the norm. Stitch 500 stitches on a piece with a solitary focus or that contains a mask.
Savannah is a solitary person doing a bow.
Yes, yep, that works. I know, well, I don't have it, but I know Carla's doing Phantom of the Opera, so that would obviously have someone in a mask.
Yes. Your little lady in the silhouette, she's a solitary focus.
Yes, well, yes, I was just looking at her thinking that might fit.
Yeah.
That's probably about it, because...
Well, Yoda's done.
Yeah. Yeah, because lots of, like, Christmas is not solitary focused. A lot of my other pieces have multiple people or multiple things.
Yeah.
So they don't count. The only other one potentially is my Eiffel Tower.
Oh, yeah.
By itself.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. All right, that's all for that one.
Okay. I realise, apology, guys, we forgot to tell you about the Daily 30 last month when I had Melissa as a special guest. It was another acrostic, and that's been done. But this month there's no acrostic, and I'm so excited because I'm not so happy to have the acrostics. They've got their festive FFO event happening again, where you've got to finish the piece. I just send them an ornament along. The Olympics challenge finishes up this month. They're doing one called December Dash, which is basically it's a month-long finishing challenge. So trying to get your pieces finished. So you have to do you've got to have at least 100 stitches left on the piece and you've got to get them finished in December. But the one I am participating in, which is more fun for me, is the December Ugly Sweater Challenge. And this is one that I know we did in Wit Warriors either in July or December last year. Same sort of idea. You've got to create ugly sweaters and stitch something that would be on your ugly sweater. So, lots of things that you can put on your ugly sweater. You can put your sheep, your cows, your donkeys, your baubles, your cars, whatever you feel like. You basically, there's a whole list of things you do, different numbers of stitches, different levels, but I'm looking forward to finding my way through there. And that is all for a special prize drawing just in January. Apart from that, I am looking forward to joining a new group for next year. I've joined it, but Fandom Stitches is doing Disney. They're working their way through all the Disney movies. So they're going to have prompts. They've got monthly as well as weekly prompts to do with Disney movies. And apparently they're going through the decades chronologically. So starting back with the old ones like Snow White and stuff and working through to Frozen and whatever else. So I think
there's 100 years to go through.
There's a lot of movies, so I think it'll take more than a year. But it's going to be really fun, worth a try. I do like prompts to keep me on track. Full Coverage Fanatics have rolled out all their stuff for next year. If you're interested in them, I don't do enough on my full coverage. I am still going to do them in my Whip Go. That format worked really well for me this year to have the 8 pieces and rotate, touch each one about 3 times. Yep. So I'm doing that again for next year. And apart from that, there's lots of other games and things. There's something for everyone. So
pop culture, we sometimes talk about that. They haven't put up any December events yet, so we can't tell you about what we don't know. So that's why they're missing from this video, because there isn't anything to talk about yet.
No, but there's lots of choices, guys. Lots of things out there. So if you do like these videos, please comment on it and let me know that you do appreciate us doing them. Because it does take a lot of extra time to do it, but we're happy to help and give you some ideas and feedback.
And also potentially if there are any other groups that you're in that we don't talk about, we're open to exploring new groups.
I know Magical Stitches is still going on and it's having a change of leadership for next year. And that's all I know of, I think, at the moment. But there are lots of things out there. There's something for everyone. All right, guys. Until next month, have fun. Happy stitching.
Happy stitching.